What's up, everyone? Welcome to the wrong side of the tracks. First of all, I want to thank everyone out there for joining me and listening to me and my story. I'm so fucking grateful. So tremendously grateful. Yeah, can't even begin to start down that road of gratefulness. So, yeah, that being said, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm really looking forward to hearing from all you guys and hearing what you have to say and what you think about the topics that we discuss here as well. First of all, I want to point out I noticed some of you are probably going to say, he keeps looking down, what is that? So, yes, I have a pretty bad attention problem, ADD, whatever you want to call it. So, if I don't make notes to keep myself a little on track, we can get lost in the weeds pretty quickly. So, I'm going to occasionally look down at that. Eventually, on this podcast, we are going to get lost in the weeds. And I'm super excited for that. That being said, these first few episodes, I want to have a little bit of coherency, a little bit of direction, and a little bit of me inside of it. That way, you guys can relate to me or not relate to me and find out if this is a podcast you want to be a part of and enjoy and create a community around, or if this is, not for you. And that's great too. So, yeah. Where do we want to get started? So, a little bit about me, guys. I am an odd, strange individual, a little intelligent, not insanely smart by any means, but I'm smart enough to know my position on things, and I'm smart enough to admit when I'm wrong. And when I've looked at something the wrong way or, whatever it is. So that's me, man. I consider myself an autodidact. That's somebody who self teaches, self learns. You know, in my life, I've constantly been trying to learn various skills, trades, hobbies, philosophies, mind, body, health, healing techniques, like you name it. I have done it or tried it, man. Like, that's that, right? So, I have a ton, but one of my main philosophies that I've come to live by is love unconditionally. I know it sounds super cheesy and the buzzword right now, but you know, I had it tattooed on my knuckles way before it was a buzzword. Love is God's gift. And that's because I'm interested in a variety of these topics, guys, from psychedelics, metaphysics, Reiki healing, energetics, religion, spirituality, psychology, poetry, art in all forms, esoteric knowledge, exoteric knowledge, the occult, philosophy, the political landscape, and most importantly, guys, like I am super stoked on humanity and human beings. Like I love human beings. I love our position in the universe, and ultimately, that's one of the main reasons for this podcast, guys. Is I love you all so much, and I want to see each and every one of you experience the best possible life you can experience. Whatever that means for you, that's what I want to, try and extract out of this podcast, out of my words. I've always liked to consider myself a wordsmith, so we'll see if some of these words can help you. Hopefully, you guys don't get too distracted with my hand movements. I talk a lot with my hands, very eccentric. Sorry. Um, so, yeah, guys, I honestly believe that can be achieved when every single person in the world discovers who they are and can finally free themselves from the mental slavery that we've all been put under. Um, Honestly, I just believe us coming together like this and exchanging our ideas and our philosophies, our cultures, our traditions, whatever it is, will help each and every one of us evolve to our higher selves, our best versions of ourselves, right? It's not saying there's not a place for the short form content, but actually communicating with another individual for longer than 5 or 10 minutes and finding out how they think, why they think, what they think, how they formulate sentences, their position and stance on things based on their experience, not the collective experience or programming from their environment, right? So, uh, yeah, man, like I'm like super excited about this. So, yeah, whether this happens physically or mentally or both, right, is kind of irrelevant. The whole point is that we grow and we evolve as a species, and we can recognize that all human beings, whether we see eye to eye or not, we're just that, man. We're human beings, and we all have a purpose, a reason for being here, medicine, whatever you want to call it, right? A destiny. It doesn't matter what you call it, but there is a reason why you are here, right? So, yeah, guys, I see it as a little bit of my mission to just always radiate love. Like, I believe a ton of the world's issues can be fixed with just a little injection of love from any source. So, yeah, that being said, it's like I take it as a little bit of my responsibility as a Reiki master to be a living example of the words that I speak and the practices that I teach. Um, so, yeah, that's that on that. So, yeah, guys, before we dive too much into this episode and get things kicked off on this crazy train, let me explain a little bit about the name, The Wrong Side of the Tracks, because I know some of y'all are probably like, the fuck is that supposed to mean? The wrong side of the tracks. So, yeah, I grew up in a small mining town in Battle Mountain, Nevada. Maybe some of you have heard of it, maybe some of you haven't. That's okay. And anybody who lives there, mind you, it is a lot better today than it was when I was growing up. But that's a side issue. So that being said, guys, I grew up in this town until I was 15, until my family moved up here to northeastern Washington. But while I was in Nevada, I lived right next to the tracks. And when I say I lived right next to the tracks, man, I mean my front door was like 20 feet away. And if you're thinking there's no possible way he's exaggerating, you're right. If anything, I'm exaggerating less. It might have been like 15 feet away. It was fucking close. So, yeah, if now you're grasping it, you're like, holy shit, that's kind of crazy if you lived like that. And you're right, it was fucking crazy. It was the old train station back in like 1907. My friends hated staying the night because the train commotion, it made traveling to and from places a nightmare, especially if they were doing maintenance and just going back and forth and back and forth, it'd take forever. And then aside from all that, it came with its own set of, learning experiences and dangers that I had to navigate at a very young age. Otherwise, I could have gotten messed up or killed. Like trains don't fuck around. You're pretty squishy compared to them. And I didn't see it with my own two eyes, but witnessed the police pulling body parts from people who attempted to do whatever they decided to do with the train as a young kid. It was a different experience, man. So yeah, we don't want to get too lost here. So yeah, we'll get more into the story of my life and all that stuff another time, right? The importance here is that I lived right next to the damn tracks. And anyways, on my side of the tracks, we had the fairgrounds, we had the truck stops, we had the Calico Club. I don't know if any of you know what a Calico Club is, but that's a whorehouse for those of you back in the day. We had several trailer parks over there when the biker gangs, the Hells Angels and stuff would roll through town when I was younger. That's the side of the town where they would frequent. So it was very noticeable that all that behavior went on that side of the tracks, right? I didn't notice this too much, like, as a kid, but it was pretty obvious. And there were situations that I started to look at as I was growing up that, oh, man, I'm being looked at differently because of where I live, right? And it wasn't all just because of where I lived. My dad has a huge family, 15 brothers and sisters, so lots of cousins, aunts, uncles, you name it. So, and it being a fairly small town, there was a lot of he said, she said, family interminglings and drama. So I'm sure there was some of that I didn't recognize as a kid as well. But overall, for the most part, it was looked at as the wrong side of the tracks. Let's just put it that way. Um, so yeah, guys, the wrong side of the tracks. Like I said, that's where the bikers would have their overnight 3-day festivals or whatever in the park, music bands, women, all the loud ruckus I loved seeing as a kid. It was part of the reason why I have some tattoos. I seen that at such a young age, man. I fell in love with body art. So again, another story. Told you guys I have ADD. I can get lost into the woods. But yeah, the fairgrounds, that's where the carnivals would set up. So it was definitely the the town stereotype of the wrong side of the tracks, right? So that's the point to the name, guys, and I think a lot of you guys can relate to that, whether you lived by the tracks or not. I think a lot of you guys can resonate with the fact that wherever you grew up may have looked like the the town outcast, but that could be some of the societal pressures that formed you, that formed your magic, right, and your purpose. We are a product of our environment, so that does play a big role, and those are the ones I'm reaching out to right now. Those are the ones that I I want this podcast to reach in all forms and fashions, and no matter what we discuss, I want to hear your feedback, whether you like it, don't like it, agree, disagree. That's what I want to do with this, guys. I want to create a platform, a community of like minded individuals that uh, we don't always see eye to eye, but we can agree to disagree, and we can share our information and our knowledge and our perception on reality and help everybody get together a little more peacefully, right? So yeah, um, I have multiple reasons for wanting to start this podcast. Obviously, I've wanted to do it forever, but one of the main reasons, especially with me being a Reiki master and just the way I live my life, is I believe one of the reasons for this podcast is to shed a light on the darkness. I know it exists in the world. You know it exists in the world. And I know you know it exists in the world. So that's not what I'm trying to do here. I'm not trying to inform you on anything you don't know. I just also know that the average person doesn't have the curiosity, doesn't have the drive, or even if they had both of those, they don't have the time to go down every rabbit hole the internet has to offer. And I've done that over my 36 years of existence, whether books, movies, documentaries, internet rabbit holes, white papers, research, you name it. I have looked through it other than paying for college tuition. So another big reason of trying to start this podcast is to show people you don't need the institutions to learn. You just need a curious mind and a guiding intuition, and the universe will take care of the rest, man. Um, so yeah, that's one of the things I see as my job as a light worker, is to illuminate the darkness in the world, to reveal those things or those people that have been lurking in the shadows, um, and just try to shed a light on them, guys. And then at that point, whatever the world does with it, that's up to y'all. You know, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And that's the same thing with this. Once I show or tell or inform or whatever you want to call it, through this podcast to get your curiosity going, uh, the rest will be up to you at that point. So yeah, just like a lot of great people throughout history, I like to, especially with the poetry, I like to do metaphors and parables and everything myself. So um, I like to consider what I was just talking about there, shedding a little a light on the darkness, right? I like to think of it if you were in a warehouse, a pitch black warehouse, and you just had a match and you struck that match. All you would be able to see is what is directly in front of you. And as you move, the match would flicker, you would see less, and every sound, creak, noise, moan, and groan of the building would send a little shiver of fear up your spine because you wouldn't be able to see what's going on, right? And so instead of using that little bit of limited knowledge to navigate the world or navigate the warehouse, if you use that limited light source to search where you know there would be a main light source and illuminate the entire warehouse, well, then everything that's been scaring you and running around and creeping you out because you don't know, you've never experienced hearsay, whatever it is, the you would see it for what it is. And just like when we watch a scary movie or whatever, and then we see it on Halloween and it just becomes silly and funny, that's what happens to very scary information or terrifying knowledge or the boogeyman or whatever you want to call it. When you see it exposed, not only is it silly and goofy, you almost feel bad for it because of its cowardice and its vulnerability that it had to creep around in the shadows instead of just revealing itself for what it is, right? So that's like what I like to think about all this stuff as is like it's not just hearing the headline of information, it's diving into these things and finding out not only which ones are real and which ones aren't, but what information in the real ones is important and which one isn't, because sometimes we have too much information that's just needless and sometimes we have not enough, and we have to find that balance to what's important, why it's important, and then move on. So um yeah, that's like what I want to do with this podcast, guys, is basically plant seeds so they slowly grow, right? It's not, it unfolds over time. It's not a shortcut. If you're looking for a shortcut, man, I'm sorry, like you got to find another podcast cuz there's no shortcuts here. This anything that we seek to learn, teach, embody, whatever it is, it's going to take some effort and some doing, some discipline, some love, and you're going to have to uh, feel the range of your emotions and when each one is necessary and when it isn't. I forget who the author of this quote is, but maybe it's in the Art of War, Sun Tzu, I'm not sure, but it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. So that's just, it's a mindset, guys. And so, yeah, I'm going to start to wrap up this first episode, guys. I know we didn't dive a bunch into any specific topics or anything. That's okay. I just hope it was exciting enough and kind of have you guys on the edge enough to know that I have hours and hours and hours, days of information, just opinions, thoughts, theories, memories, stories, poetry. I have so much in the pipeline coming for this, guys, and I hope you stick around for it. Tune back in, and like I said, we're gonna go down some rabbit holes, guys. But yeah, before I wrap this up, you're gonna hear me say this a lot. This is one of the main reasons. This is one of the main reasons. There's no main reason, right? There's just a lot of fucking reasons that I wanted to start this podcast, and I mess up my words sometimes as far as like one of the main reasons, one of the main reasons. So yeah, just stick with me, talk shit in the comments below, whatever you want to do. Let's have fun and do some pandering back and forth, guys. But yeah, last things last here. I believe another big reason for wanting to start this podcast is, or I guess why I feel like I've been chosen or selected to play a role in these end times, I think, is due to the amount of skepticism that I had growing up and my whole life, really. I was born into the LDS church. We went to church every Sunday, was baptized. My parents didn't do drugs or anything. My dad was a miner. He worked all the time, had a great life as far as, societal standards go. I was always taught, love and family in the home, how important it was. And still, I rebelled against everything. I went down every rabbit hole you could go down. I experienced more um, heathenness than most people will experience in 20 lifetimes. I I did everything in my power to disprove any form of, spirituality, thought process, religion, just faith and a hope in something bigger than yourself. I actively seeked in my own ways to like disprove that this stuff wasn't, true or accurate or, whatever you want to call it. Even though I was experiencing all this, and then I would do this and I would experience that and I would try and go against it there. We're going to get into all those. I got stories and stories and stories for days, guys. It blows my fucking mind, and it happened to me. So I can only imagine what you guys are going to think. So, yeah, guys, I like tried to disprove a lot of this shit. And in my disproving, I literally became a front runner for the proving. Like, fucking how ironic, right? I guess that's how life works. That's how the universe works. We are fractals of the universe experiencing this reality. So we can send information, data, knowledge, whatever you want to call it, back to source. And it gets wild, and I'm excited. And yeah, like I said, it didn't come at just taking somebody's word for it. I fucking did it. You name it, I did it. We're gonna talk about it, and I'm excited to get down on all these topics, guys. I really hope, if you sound interested, if you think this sounds like it's going to be up your alley, tune back in for episode number 2. Not sure what we're going to talk about yet, but it's going to be fucking great. And again, I'm so excited to get going on this. I'm so grateful for all of you who stayed and listened to it this far. I can't express that enough. And yeah, boy, let's fucking have some fun. Let's make 2025 a year worth noting in the history books. I honestly believe we're living in the greatest times ever to live. And once we embrace that, man, things are going to get so fucking cool. It's going to seem magical. So, again, guys, share this with anybody. Comment, like below, share it, subscribe. Please, if you enjoy it, do that. Help me help you and help the algorithm. And if you don't, awesome. Don't share it, don't like it, don't enjoy it. That's fucking cool too. I'm down with that. Everybody's our own thing. But if you do enjoy it, please help a brother out and help that algorithm out. And until next time, guys, I can't wait to see you. I love y'all. We'll see you next time on the wrong side of the tracks. Peace.